Welcome if you're new, and welcome back if you're an existing viewer of my YouTube channel. So ayun, for today's video, gagawin ko naman ng video yung ticket prices ng Manila to Cebu ng December 15 to December 31, 2021. Meron akong nagawang video ng Cebu to Manila ng November dahil merong nag-inquire, so ginawan ko yun ng video. Today, Manila to Cebu naman yung gagawin ko ng video since uwi and season na nga, and alam kong maraming taga Cebu ang nasa Manila nagtatrabaho. So, if makita nila yung video ko, magbigay din sa kanila ng idea kung nasa magkano nagre-range yung ticket from Manila to Cebu ng December 15 to December 31, 2021. And kahit naman yung iba hindi taga Cebu, marami talaga yung dumadayo ng Cebu dahil maraming magagandang tanawin ang Cebu na binabalik-balikan kahit ng mga turista. So, if interesado kang malaman kung magkano yung prices ng ticket ng Manila to Cebu this December 15 to December 31, 2021, let's get into the video. So, ayun, Manila to Cebu tayo. Start na tayo ng December 15. So, Manila to Cebu ng December 15. So, Manila to Cebu ng December 15, Philippine Airlines direct flight, 1,807. Madaming 1,807 na flight ng Philippine Airlines. Meron din silang Manila to Cebu na 2,367. And then, merong connecting flight ang Philippine Airlines, 3,202. Manila to Davao, Davao to Cebu. Meron din silang 3,563 connecting flight din from Manila to BXU. Ang BXU po is Butuan. Manila to Butuan, Butuan to Cebu. And then, meron ulit 4,789 na connecting flight from Manila to Cagayan, Cagayan to Cebu. Meron ulit connecting flight ang Philippine Airlines na 9,488 from Manila to Bacolod, Bacolod to Cebu. So next, Cebu Pacific direct flight, 1,900.12. Marami ding direct flight ang Cebu Pacific ng December 15, pare-parehong 1,900.12. Meron ding AirAsia na direct flight, 2,137. And then, ang Cebu Pacific, merong connecting flight din na 3,297.24 from Manila to Davao, Davao to Cebu. Tatlo yung 3,297.84 ng Cebu Pacific. Yung pangalawa is from Manila to Davao, Davao to Cebu din. Yung isa is Manila to Davao, Davao to Cebu din. So, tatlong flight na parehong dadaan ng Davao bago mag-Cebu. So, meron din ditong Cebu na connecting flight, 7,865.20 from Manila to Siargao Island. Yung IAO is Siargao Airport. So, Manila to Siargao, Siargao to Cebu. So, next is December 16. So, December 16, Manila to Cebu, Philippine Airlines direct flight, 3,263. Meron din connecting flight ang Philippine Airlines, 3,563. Manila to Butuan, Butuan to Cebu. So, meron ulit direct flight ang Philippine Airlines, 4,047 pesos. Maraming 4,047. So, ayan. And meron din connecting flight na 5,059 from Manila to Tacloban, Tacloban to Cebu. Meron ulit connecting flight na 5,349 from Manila to Cagayan, Cagayan to Cebu. And meron ulit connecting flight ang Philippine Airlines na 6,887 from Manila to Davao, Davao to Cebu. And then AirAsia direct flight, 2,749. Ayan, tatlo yung flight ng AirAsia na parehong 2,749. And then Cebu Pacific direct flight, 2,920.44. Ayan, marami din direct flight ang Cebu Pacific, as you can see. And then, meron connecting flight ng Cebu Pacific, 3,297.84. Manila to Davao, Davao to Cebu. Meron ulit direct flight ang Cebu Pacific na 3,480.44. And Cebu na connecting flight 5,689.04. Manila to USU, USU to Cebu. So, ang USU guys is sa Palawan yan. Airport yan doon na nagkikater sa Coron. Meron ulit Cebu na connecting flight 8,201.2 from Manila to Siargao Airport, Siargao to Cebu. So, next is December 17. So, Manila to Cebu, December 17, Philippine Airlines direct flight, 3,263. Meron din silang direct flight na 4,047. And then, merong connecting flight ang Philippine Airlines na 4,733 from Manila to Zamboanga, Zamboanga to Cebu. Meron ulit connecting flight ang Philippine Airlines ng 4,789, Manila to Cagayan, Cagayan to Cebu. Meron ulit 4,907 na connecting flight from Manila to Butuan, Butuan to Cebu. And meron ulit connecting flight ang Philippine Airlines na 5,935 from Manila to Davao, Davao to Cebu. And meron ulit connecting flight ang Philippine Airlines na 6,887 from Manila to Davao, Davao to Cebu din. And ato din, meron din connecting flight ang Philippine Airlines. 8,257. Manila to MPH, MPH to Cebu. Ang MPH is Katiklan. Meron ulit connecting flight ang Philippine Airlines na 11,157. From Manila to Bacolod, Bacolod to Cebu. And then AirAsia direct flight, 1,589. Meron ding direct flight ang AirAsia na 2,749. Cebu Pacific direct flight, 2,920.44. And then, Cebu Pacific connecting flight, 3,297.84 from Manila to Davao, Davao to Cebu. Meron ding 3,297.84 na connecting flight from Manila to Davao, Davao to Cebu din. And so, next is December 18. So, December 18, Philippine Airlines, Manila to Cebu. Manila to Cebu, direct flight, 3,263. Meron din 4,047 pesos. Meron din connecting flight na 4,347 from Manila to Butuan, Butuan to Cebu. Meron din 5,059 na connecting flight from Manila to Tacloban, Tacloban to Cebu. Meron din connecting flight na 6,189 from Manila to Cagayan, Cagayan to Cebu. Meron din connecting flight na 7,447 from Manila to Davao, Davao to Cebu. And meron ulit connecting flight ang Philippine Airlines na 8,511 from Manila to Davao, Davao to Cebu din. So next, AirAsia direct flight, 2,137. Meron din 2,749 na direct flight ang AirAsia. Ang Cebu Pacific, meron direct flight na 2,920.44. And then, meron ding AirAsia na direct flight, 3,249. Cebu Pacific direct flight, 3,480.44. Meron connecting flight ang Cebu Pacific, 3,521.84. Manila to Davao, Davao to Cebu. And then, meron ding connecting flight ang Cebu, 7,033.04. Manila to USU, USU to Cebu. And Cebu ulit na connecting flight, 9,702. Manila to Siargao Airport, Siargao Airport to Cebu. So next is December 19. So December 19, Manila to Cebu, Philippine Airlines direct flight, 3,263. Meron ding direct flight na 4,047 pesos. And then meron connecting flight ang Philippine Airlines, 4,347 from Manila to Butuan, Butuan to Cebu. Meron ding connecting flight na 5,059 from Manila to Tacloban, Tacloban to Cebu. Next is 5,580 na connecting flight, Manila to MPH, MPH to Cebu. Next, 5,935 na connecting flight from Manila to Davao, Davao to Cebu. And then, meron ulit 6,189 na connecting flight from Manila to Cagayan, Cagayan to Cebu. Meron din connecting flight na 6,887, Manila to Davao, Davao to Cebu din, and 9,335 connecting flight, Manila to MPH, MPH to Cebu, Katiklan po ito. 10,261 connecting flight, Manila to Bacolod, Bacolod to Cebu. AirAsia direct flight, 2,137. Meron din 2,749 na direct flight. And then Cebu Pacific direct flight, 2,920.44. And then, merong connecting flight ang Cebu Pacific, 3,521.84. Manila to Davao, Davao to Cebu. And 5,689.04, Cebu connecting flight, Manila to USU, USU to Cebu. Next is Cebu ulit, connecting flight, 8,649.20, Manila to Siargao Airport, Siargao Airport to Cebu. So next is December 20. So, December 20, Manila to Cebu, Philippine Airlines direct flight, 3,263. Meron din direct flight na 4,047 ang Philippine Airlines. And then, meron silang connecting flight na 4,347 from Manila to Butuan, Butuan to Cebu. Meron din connecting flight na 5,629 from Manila to Cagayan, Cagayan to Cebu. Meron din 5,655 connecting flight from Manila to Davao, Davao to Cebu. And then, meron din connecting flight na 6,749 from Manila to Zamboanga, Zamboanga to Cebu. And then, connecting flight ulit na 9,488 from Manila to Bacolod, Bacolod to Cebu. Next is AirAsia direct flight, 2,749. Cebu Pacific direct flight, 2,920.44. And merong Cebu na connecting flight, 8,997.52 from Manila to IAO, IAO to Cebu, Siargao Airport. So next is December 21. So December 21, Manila to Cebu, Philippine Airlines direct flight, 4,047 pesos. Meron din silang connecting flight na 4,347 from Manila to Butuan, Butuan to Cebu. Meron silang connecting flight na 5,039 from Manila to Davao, Davao to Cebu. Meron din silang connecting flight na 5,121 from Manila to Katiklan, Katiklan to Cebu. Meron din silang 5,580 na connecting flight from Manila to Katiklan ulit, Katiklan to Cebu. And then, meron silang connecting flight na 6,179 from Manila to Tacloban, Tacloban to Cebu. 6,189 connecting flight from Manila to Cagayan, Cagayan to Cebu. And AirAsia direct flight, 2,749. Meron ding direct flight ang AirAsia na 3,249. Cebu Pacific direct flight, 3,480.44. And merong connecting flight ang Cebu Pacific na 3,521.84 from Manila to Davao, Davao to Cebu. And then, meron ulit direct flight ang Cebu Pacific na 4,040 pesos, 0.44. And then, Cebu na connecting flight, 5,241.04 from Manila to USU, Busuanga Airport. Tapos, Busuanga Airport to Cebu. Next is Cebu ulit, 8,313.20 from Manila to Siargao, Siargao to Cebu. So next is December 22. So December 22, Manila to Cebu. Philippine Airlines direct flight, 4,047 pesos. Meron silang connecting flight na 4,647 from Manila to Davao, Davao to Cebu. Meron din connecting flight na 4,907 from Manila to Butuan, Butuan to Cebu. Meron din connecting flight na 5,629 from Manila to Cagayan, Cagayan to Cebu. Meron din connecting flight na 9,488 from Manila to Bacolod, Bacolod to Cebu. And AirAsia direct flight 3,249. Cebu Pacific direct flight 3,480.44. And then, merong connecting flight ang Cebu Pacific na 3,521.84 from Manila to Davao, Davao to Cebu. And meron ulit Cebu na connecting flight, 7,753.20 from Manila to Siargao Airport, Siargao Airport to Cebu. Next is December 23. So December 23, Manila to Cebu, Philippine Airlines direct flight, 4,047 pesos. Meron din silang connecting flight na 4,347 from Manila to Butuan, Butuan to Cebu. Connecting flight na 5,059 from Manila to Tacloban, Tacloban to Cebu. Connecting flight na 5,655 from Manila to Davao, Davao to Cebu. Connecting flight na 6,189 from Manila to Cagayan, Cagayan to Cebu. And then AirAsia direct flight, 3,249. Cebu Pacific direct flight, 3,480.44. And then, Cebu Pacific connecting flight, 3,521.84 from Manila to Davao, Davao to Cebu. And then, AirAsia direct flight ulit na 3,549. And then, Cebu na 7,481.04 connecting flight from Manila to Busuanga, Busuanga to Cebu. And then, 10,498.32 connecting flight from Manila to Siargao, Siargao to Cebu. Next is December 24. So next, Manila to Cebu, Philippine Airlines direct flight, 4,047 pesos. And then connecting flight ng Philippine Airlines, 4,907. Manila to Butuan, Butuan to Cebu, 5,405. Connecting flight, Manila to Zamboanga, Zamboanga to Cebu, 5,599 connecting flight, Manila to Davao, Davao to Cebu. And then 5,629 connecting flight, Manila to Cagayan, Cagayan to Cebu. Philippine Airlines connecting flight, 7,447, Manila to Davao, Davao to Cebu. And then connecting flight ulit na 9,579 from Manila to Katiklan, Katiklan to Cebu. And connecting flight na 10,261 from Manila to Bacolod, Bacolod to Cebu. Connecting flight na 11,001 pesos from Manila to Katiklan, Katiklan to Cebu. Cebu Pacific connecting flight 3,241.84 from Manila to Davao, Davao to Cebu. And then AirAsia direct flight 3,249. Cebu Pacific direct flight 3,480.44. And Cebu na connecting flight 7,865.20 from Manila to Siargao Airport, Siargao Airport to Cebu. Next is December 25. So December 25, Manila to Cebu, Philippine Airlines direct flight 1,807. And meron din direct flight ang Philippine Airlines na 3,263. And connecting flight na 3,939 from Manila to Tacloban, Tacloban to Cebu. Connecting flight na 4,423 from Manila to Davao, Davao to Cebu. Connecting flight na 5,467 from Manila to Butuan, Butuan to Cebu. Connecting flight na 5,599 from Manila to Davao, Davao to Cebu. And then connecting flight ulit na 6,189 from Manila to Cagayan, Cagayan to Cebu. And Cebu Pacific direct flight 1,900 pesos, 0.12. And then AirAsia direct flight 1,913. Cebu Pacific direct flight ulit na 2,079.32. And then Cebu Pacific connecting flight 2,905.84 from Manila to Davao, Davao to Cebu. Cebu pala na 5,241.04 from Manila to Busuanga, Busuanga to Cebu. And then 6,745.20 connecting flight from Manila to Siargao, Siargao to Cebu. So next is December 26. So December 26, Manila to Cebu. Philippine Airlines direct flight 2,367. Philippine Airlines direct flight, 4,047 pesos. Philippine Airlines connecting flight, 4,123, Manila to Butuan, Butuan to Cebu. Connecting flight ulit na 4,591, Manila to Davao, Davao to Cebu. Connecting flight ulit na 5,059 from Manila to Tacloban, Tacloban to Cebu. And then, connecting flight ulit na 6,189 from Manila to Cagayan, Cagayan to Cebu. Connecting flight ulit na 9,488 from Manila to Bacolod, Bacolod to Cebu. And then, AirAsia direct flight, 1,913. Cebu Pacific direct flight, 2,079.32. Meron din AirAsia direct flight na 2,137. Meron din Cebu Pacific direct flight 2,303.32. And then Cebu Pacific direct flight 2,527.32. Cebu Pacific connecting flight 3,017.84 from Manila to Davao, Davao to Cebu. And then Cebu Pacific direct flight ulit ng 4,040 pesos, 0.44. And then Cebu na connecting flight 6,585.04 from Manila to Busuanga, Busuanga to Cebu. And then Cebu ulit na connecting flight 12,838 from Manila to Siargao, Siargao to Cebu. Next is December 27. So Manila to Cebu, December 27, at Philippine Airlines direct flight 3,263. Philippine Airlines direct flight ulit na 4,047. And then connecting flight Philippine Airlines 4,123, Manila to Butuan, Butuan to Cebu. Connecting flight na 4,789 from Manila to Cagayan, Cagayan to Cebu. Connecting flight na 6,077 from Manila to Zamboanga, Zamboanga to Cebu. Connecting flight na 6,439 from Manila to Davao, Davao to Cebu. And then connecting flight ulit na 9,488 from Manila to Bacolod, Bacolod to Cebu. And AirAsia direct flight 2,749. And then Cebu Pacific direct flight 2,920.44. And then Cebu na connecting flight 10,374 from Manila to Siargao, Siargao to Cebu. Next is December 28. December 28, Manila to Cebu. Philippine Airlines direct flight 3,263. Meron din direct flight na 4,047 pesos. And then Philippine Airlines connecting flight 4,123 from Manila to Butuan, Butuan to Cebu. Connecting flight ulit na 5,059 from Manila to Tacloban, Tacloban to Cebu. And then connecting flight ulit na 5,580 from Manila to Katiklan, Katiklan to Cebu. And then connecting flight na 5,599 from Manila to Davao, Davao to Cebu. And then connecting flight na 6,189 from Manila to Cagayan, Cagayan to Cebu. And connecting flight na 6,495 from Manila to Davao, Davao to Cebu. And then connecting flight ulit na 9,355 from Manila to Katiklan, Katiklan to Cebu. And then AirAsia direct flight 2,749. Cebu Pacific direct flight 2,920.44. Cebu Pacific connecting flight 3,129.84 from Manila to Davao, Davao to Cebu. And then direct flight ulit ng Cebu Pacific 3,480.44. And connecting flight ng Cebu, 5,689.04. Manila to Busuanga, Busuanga to Cebu. And Cebu ulit na connecting flight, 7,193.20. From Manila to Siargao, Siargao to Cebu. Next is December 29. So, December 29, Manila to Cebu, Philippine Airlines direct flight, 3,263. Philippine Airlines direct flight, 4,047 pesos. And then, meron connecting flight na 4,123, Manila to Butuan, Butuan to Cebu. 5,629 for connecting flight, Manila to Cagayan, Cagayan to Cebu. 6,495 connecting flight, Manila to Davao, Davao to Cebu. Connecting flight ulit na 9,488 from Manila to Bacolod, Bacolod to Cebu. And AirAsia direct flight, 2,749. Cebu Pacific direct flight, 2,920.44. And then Cebu Pacific connecting flight, 3,017.84. And Cebu na connecting flight, 8,549.52 from Manila to Siargao, Siargao to Cebu. Next is December 30. So December 30, Philippine Airlines direct flight, 3,263. Philippine Airlines connecting flight, 3,639 from Manila to Davao, Davao to Cebu. Then Philippine Airlines direct flight, 4,047 pesos. And then connecting flight, 4,923, Manila to Butuan, Butuan to Cebu. 5,059 connecting flight from Manila to Tacloban, Tacloban to Cebu. 6,189 connecting flight, Manila to Cagayan, Cagayan to Cebu. AirAsia direct flight, 2,137. Meron din 2,749 ang AirAsia direct flight. Cebu Pacific direct flight, 2,920.44. And then, Cebu Pacific connecting flight, 3,017.84 from Manila to Davao, Davao to Cebu. And then, direct flight ulit ng Cebu Pacific, 3,480.44. And Cebu connecting flight, 5,241.04 from Manila to Busuanga, Busuanga to Cebu. And Cebu ulit na connecting flight, 8,549.52 from Manila to Siargao, Siargao to Cebu. Next is December 31. So, December 31, Manila to Cebu, Philippine Airlines direct flight, 1,807. And then, connecting flight, 3,415, Manila to Davao, Davao to Cebu. Connecting flight ulit na 4,123, Manila to Butuan, Butuan to Cebu. Connecting flight ulit na 4,733, from Manila to Zamboanga, Zamboanga to Cebu. Meron din silang connecting flight na 4,789 from Manila to Cagayan, Cagayan to Cebu. 6,439 connecting flight from Manila to Davao, Davao to Cebu. And then meron silang connecting flight na 8,257 from Manila to Katiklan, Katiklan to Cebu. Meron connecting flight ulit na 9,488 from Manila to Bacolod, Bacolod to Cebu. And last connecting flight ng Philippine Airlines, 9,579 from Manila to Katiklan, Katiklan to Cebu ulit. And then AirAsia direct flight, 1,734. And then Cebu Pacific direct flight, 1,754.52. And meron ding 1,900.12 ang Cebu Pacific direct flight. Meron connecting flight ang Cebu Pacific na 2,681.84 from Manila to Davao, Davao to Cebu. And then, merong Cebu connecting flight 8,101.52 from Manila to Siargao, Siargao to Cebu. So, ayun guys, yun lahat yung prices ng ticket from Manila to Cebu from December 15 to December 31, 2021. Kung napansin nyo, sobrang daming flights ng Manila to Cebu. Ang dami din nilang connecting flights. Dadaan ng Davao, dadaan ng Zamboanga, dadaan ng Siargao, dadaan ng Busuanga, dadaan ng Bacolod, bago mag-Cebu. Sobrang dami nilang connecting flight, guys. Kung balak nyong magbakasyon sa Cebu this December, baka makatulong sa inyo yung video na to. And thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Bye!